Just let me know, Joey.
Just loading.
Okay.
Oopsie.
Hey, Mr. Chair, we're live and we're recording.
Okay.
Okay, buenas everybody. And half a day. This meeting is called to order. Today is Wednesday, March 12th, 2025. It's 2:03 p.m. In compliance with 5 GCA Chapter 8, Section 8107, public notices for the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission regular meeting scheduled for Wednesday, March 12th, 2025, were published in the Guam Daily Post on Wednesday, March 5th, and Monday, March 10th, 2025, and posted in the Government of Guam Public Notice Portal and the GALC website. Roll call.
Half a day, everybody. Ronald Eclavea, Chairman.
Present.
Vice Chairman Ronald Laguana.
Yeah.
Secretary
Can you hear me?
Treasurer Anita Orlino.
Present.
Commissioner Angela Camacho.
Here.
Commissioner Maria Cruz.
Here.
Commissioner Louisa Westling. I haven't heard anything from Commissioner Westling. I'm assuming she'll be logging in later, sir. You have 5 of your 6 members present. You have a quorum.
Just Master Kathy. Okay,
Buen
let's
provecho.
1 second. Let's go down to the okay, hang on 1 second here. Okay, so we move down to the item number 3, approval of minutes. A, regular meeting July 31st, 2024, and B, special meeting October 30, 2024.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Camacho. I move to approve the minutes of both meetings, subject to any technical corrections.
I'll second that.
Okay, to clarify, are you I didn't really get your first motion is for both or just for the first
For both.
for both minutes? Okay. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes, seconded by Vice Chair? Discussion?
Yes, just to clarify, it's for both dates, regular meeting for July 31st and special meeting for October 30.
Correct.
Yeah, 2024.
Okay, no further discussion? Okay, let's move to a vote. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? No nays. Okay, Kathy, motion passes. Okay, so we're gonna move down to item 4, acting executive director's report.
You're on mute, Kat.
Sorry about that. Viva Mes Chamorro, I wanted to say. Buenas
Okay.
and half a day, everybody. First, the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission FY 25 budget. The letter of request to amend the budget law was sent to our oversight chairman, Speaker Ada, Senator Chris Dueñas, and the chairman, the chairman of the Committee on Finance and Budget, as well as the Director of Office and Finance. We sent out the letter on February 13, if I'm not mistaken. Our response is that they're working on a law to amend the current law to address our shortfall. Next I have AT&T. We received the AT&T month-to-month agreement for signature. Unfortunately, there were some recording requirements that needed to be addressed. As soon as we receive the signed acknowledged copy, we will contact you for your signatures. Lot 10190-R1 South Finnegotten. Joey will take the lead on this request and will be answering any questions or concerns you may have related to this lot. Additionally, there is a request for right of entry from a Mr. Andrew Brown, the lead realty specialist from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, at which Joey will also be taking the lead on. The next item would be lot 192 and 192-1 PD. This is where our office was contacted by Dr. Weir, and our office contacted Dr. Weir and informed him that his request will be heard in today's meeting. Joey will also be taking the lead on the request. My report is 2 pages. The second page of our report is our current, the Ancestral Lands Commission account balances. Excuse me. With that said, if you guys have any questions on the 2 lots, Joey will be available to answer your questions.
Okay, should we ask the questions now or shall we wait until after your report?
That completes my report, sir.
Okay,
Thank you
very
for
good.
the opportunity.
So just Masi. Okay, any questions?
I have,
Vice Chair?
yeah, I would like what's the lot number for Finnegotten? Is that South Finnegotten or Finnegotten?
South Finnegotten, it's
Okay,
lot
South.
10190-R1.
10190 R1?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Was there communications in writing that was sent to you as the acting director on that matter?
On which one, sir?
For the
The-
request for access from Mr. Andrew Brown?
A formal letter was not sent to our office. What happened was the request actually came from governor's office.
Okay,
Then what happened was, when we received the letter, when we received the email of request that went through the governor's office,
okay,
Joey Leon Guerrero went on ahead and made contact with Mr. Brown on his request.
okay,
But did it come directly to us? No, sir. It came through governor's office.
okay, that's it. Okay, we'll just wait for Joey now. And the
Yes, sir.
second lot is 192, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, Joey. Thank you.
Should we stick with the agenda first? We still have
Oh,
the
yeah,
GITA progress report, then old business, and then that's under new business.
okay, yeah, follow the agenda, right?
Yeah, we
very
have to.
Okay.
Okay, I basically just brought that up because Kat, you asked if there was any questions regarding that with Joey. That's why I said to whether we do it now or do it later, and I can see it is there on the agenda, so we'll do it later. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so no further questions for our acting director's report? Okay, let's move down to item 5, GITA progress report.
Mr. Chair, can we recognize Commissioner Wesley?
All right. So noted. Welcome, Commissioner Westling. You got on. You're on your phone? Okay. Okay, welcome. Okay, we're at item 5, I believe. GITA progress report.
Buenas. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Ronick Levea, Vice Chair Laguarnia, and all commissioners. Tony Ariola here from GITA, along with our RPD management and staff. Before I begin our GITA progress report, I'd like to mention that SPG, Mr. Dan Swavely, our consultant, as well as Mr. Patrick Boulon, the VP of Matson, is currently present with us today via our Zoom meeting to address the GALC board of their requests. I believe they're going to be addressing the request right after I complete the GITA monthly progress report. Hope that'll
Okay.
be okay for the commissioners. Okay. Buenas and good afternoon. My name's Tony Ariola, representing GITA, along with our management.
I'm sorry, Tony, just real quick, you're just a little bit, kind of like a little bit low on your, I don't know if everybody's getting it. Is it coming in clear with you guys? You're just a little bit low on my end.
Okay, how's this, Mr. Chairman and everyone? Is this better?
Do it again. Test it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's been good on my side.
Okay,
Loud
I
and
think
clear.
I think it's just my end.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Tony, continue, please.
All right. Tony here from GITA. I'm here to present the GITA monthly progress report. The following is a progress report in GITA's efforts to manage land bank trust properties as required by Section 1 of the MOU between GITA and the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission Land Bank Trust. Our first one in the list is Weddingale Junction, Northern Market, with their monthly rent of $27,854.51, with their outstanding balance as of March 2025 of $2,218,448.93, with their last payment received on February 8, 2023. Also, their second amendment to their lease agreement was signed on February 7, 2025 by the GALC Board Commission. Their 6 months extension request for their clearances and their building permit was approved by the Guam Ancestral Board on January 27, 2025. Next tenant is Apple Harbor Parcel Number 1, which is Quick Space. Their monthly rent of $4,069.31. Current outstanding balance of $4,069.31. This is as of March, with their last payment received on February 14, 2025. We should be getting their monthly payment sometime maybe by tomorrow or early next week. They usually pay around the second week of the month. Apple Harbor Reservation, Matson tenant, their monthly rent of $27,733, with their outstanding balance of $27,733 as of March 2025, with their last payment received on February 19, 2025. We also had the tenant submit a written letter of request for consent to sublease 19 acres of their property to a Black Construction Company, and we did attach the letter. The purpose of their sublease is to stage construction materials such as storing equipment, cast, store, and distribute concrete aquapots to be used for the awarded glass breakwater project. The term of the proposed sublease agreement with Black Construction is for an initial period of 5 years, with an option to extend for another 5 years. Lot Apple Harbor Reservation Trans Steel, their monthly rent of $500, their outstanding balance of $4,000, and their last payment received on January 24th, 2025. Also, the tenant and Smithbridge Guam are in discussion to relocate their license agreement lease to a proposed 1 acre sublease property. Half-acre sublease property with Smithbridge Guam. Next one on the list is the Tengisan Cable Landing Station.
I'm sorry, Tony, real quick, you said half acre or 1 acre?
Half-acre.
It says 1 acre there though, right? On the,
Yeah, that's an
that's a
error.
typo? Okay,
Yes, my apologies. Tengisan Cable Landing Station, which is AT&T, their monthly rent of $22,939.42, with their last payment received via ACH on March 4, 2025. Their month-to-month lease agreement is pending scheduling of notary and I guess the DLM direction for recording. Also, the draft RFP appraisal was submitted to GALC and legal counsel for review on February 28, 2025. Lot Apple Harbor Reservation F12, this is Smith Bridge, Guam. Their monthly rent of $8,800. Their last payment received via ACH on March 7, 2025. They're pending a submission of written letter for consent on their subleasing of 3.5 acres property to Black to store for the purpose to store imported aggregate required for the special mix requirement for the Tetra Pots. This is also for the awarded glass breakwater project. They're also requesting a utility authorization for installation of power directly from the existing power lines located in the Polaris Point Road. Another request for them to relocate operations of TransSteel licensed property to a sublease, half acre. Sublease property with Smith Bridge. This is to allow for a more efficient configuration with SBG's operations. Lot 10155, this is the Farmers Co-op Association of Guam. Their annual rent, we are pending their submission of their CY 2024 financial statements to determine their annual lease payment that is due in coming May 2025. Per Sharon, their rep, they're preparing a statement and trying to submit by the end of this month. Along with Tizan Property, the Guam Environmental Protection Agency, their monthly rent of $8,000 with their current outstanding balance of $16,000 pending their payment of January and February. Their last payment received in the amount of $8,000 in February 26. I'm sorry, pending payment of February and March of 2025. I stand corrected in that. And like I said, their last payment will receive on February 26 in the amount of $8,000. Keep in mind that they did pay their outstanding of $320,000, and that was reported in last GITA progress report. Department of Public Health and Social Services, their monthly rent of $8,400. Outstanding balance is $0, with their lump sum payment of $16,800 and $4,200 received on January 17 and the 21st of 2025. And all these payments cleared their outstanding balance of $20,699.35. Yeah, that was an issue for like maybe a year. Other items of the list is the F12 Polaris Mitigation Plan with Smith Bridge. Smith Bridge indicating that the DPW clearing and permits have been approved around the midweek of January 2025. And the latest progress is their ongoing clearing of property. And updates will be provided once it's been completed. SBG's plan is to build a reinforced concrete structure to permanently encapsulate the contaminated waste materials and eliminate the trucking disposal costs. SPG says they're willing to absorb all the costs for this permanent structure. We have Mr. Dan Swavely, who will be addressing the board on more information on, I guess, trying to get approval of this request. Moving on down to the other items, which is the federal excess land return. The latest status update is that 3 confirmed properties are under review for return. That is the Agate Wetlands, the Tamuning Maui Tunnel off Route 1, and the Tangisan Beach Park, known as NCS Beach. And also the possibility of adding USO Beach. And this completes all my report. Should there be any questions, the commissioners or anyone, please feel free to ask. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this report to all.
Si Jules Masi again, Tony and Gita.
I'm Zumas.
Any questions? Vice Chair.
Good. Thanks for the report, Tony. I'd like to just backtrack on the F12 mitigation plan. And who is that with again?
That's with Smithbridge Guam, sir, and we have Mr.
Yeah.
Dan.
Oh,
Yeah,
go ahead.
standing by to answer all any questions of the.
Okay. No, I just wanted to clarify. And you mentioned SPG. Can you please refresh my memory? SPG?
Yeah, Smithbridge Guam, Mr. Vice Chair.
Smithbridge. And it was the SPG. Is that what that is? It was the P?
Yeah, Smithbridge Guam, SPG. Sierra Bravo Golf, yeah, acronym. Smithbridge Guam Corporation.
Okay. This is Grom Corporation. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. And I would like an update, bringing it back to the Wedding Yell Junction. We did extend the 6 months on the 27th of January. What is the update on that? What's the status? Is there any update with their movement? That's Northern Marketing.
Yes, yes. The last we heard is they're working on trying to obtain their permit with Public Works. It's currently being worked on, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So permitting is the matter right now. Okay.
Yes.
Still.
Yes.
Yes, this is Dr. Weir. At large, I have a question about your Polaris Point project for hazardous waste.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, we got diverted there for a minute. We're on the subject of Vice Chair is that pertinent to Wedding Gal? Is that what that is? Or I'm sorry, I see, okay, Dr. William Weir.
Yes, I have a question.
Wait, can you please, Mr. Chairman, address us in visual form, please, so we can see who you are?
Yeah. Just a moment. I have you on a screen, so I'm not automatically on video.
And what's your you're affiliated with what company?
I'm affiliated with myself.
Kathy, can you clarify? Is that pertaining to a separate property? That's the access to the property. Is that correct? Or
Yes, sir.
This is in regard to the report that was just given.
No, but Mr. Weir, you're here also for lot 192 and 192-1 in PD, right?
That's correct, but that's later in your agenda.
Yes, sir. We're not open to public comments at the moment.
Then you shouldn't have requested them. That's fine.
No, there'll be a time where we're gonna at the proper time we're gonna ask for public comments.
That's fine. But
Yeah.
when he asked for comments, he included board and others. So I will hold my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair, if you want to continue?
Yeah, no, that's basically it for now. Thank you, Tony.
Okay, any other questions for Gita on the report? Okay, so Tony, just real quick, regarding Mr. what's your name, Mr. Pearson, right? And he's got half acre, right? He's got half acre?
That's
Not
correct.
one. He's got half acre.
He currently has 2,000 square meters.
Okay, so about half acre, and there's some kind of collaboration going on to transfer him to Smithbridge.
That's correct. To be relocated.
To be relocated, and how does that affect the property that he's on right now? That basically comes back to us per se. We get back full control of the property, is what you're saying? Is that what that is?
No, what it is, from my understanding, is they're currently in a license agreement. Now they're going to be relocated. There was discussions being made, whereas they're currently working with Smithbridge Guam, from my understanding on the update, or the current discussions with Smithbridge Guam, that if they were to relocate, they would have to sublease via a lease agreement with Smithbridge Guam.
I see. But how does that address my question regarding the original property is on, the lot he's on, the half acre he's on?
Right. They're both in communications because to
No, he's
allow.
gonna relocate off that half acre to a half acre with Smithbridge.
That's correct. To another location within the Smithbridge lease of the 5 acre, current 8 acre lease property.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Around
Okay,
there.
okay,
Yeah, they're currently in the center, Mr. Chairman. They're currently in the center. And from my understanding, I don't know, some sketch that was provided to us, I believe they're moving them to maybe somewhere around the corner of out of the 8 acre of the Smithbridge sublease property.
all right, okay, understood. I see. So they're just in the process of negotiation or something, or that.
That's correct. They're still in discussion about that relocation of that request.
Okay,
Nothing has been finalized, nor have we received a written letter regarding that request. It's forthcoming.
okay, very good, very good. Any further questions for Gita?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Okay, Kathy?
With regards to that Transsteel relocation with Bridge,
Yeah.
my question actually would be for Attorney Miller. How would that affect their current lease and their outstanding balance?
Excuse me. Well, that is that receivable is something that would have to get worked out in the documentation, reflecting their move is presumably the documentation would say that the commission approves of them moving from this lot to this lot, but by the way, everybody agrees that that this is what they owe, and they have to keep making payments on what they owe, as well as making payments appropriate for the new property.
Okay.
I would think that he would relinquish his agreement with us month to month on that half acre property. But I think the requirement is that I guess he would have to pay off the balance and then have a separate deal with Smithbridge for a sublease. That's how I would take this, because I know we would have to
Yes.
RFP that other half acre.
Correct.
Commissioner Cruz?
If we're going to allow the transfer and we have to amend the description of the permit, I think we should have him clear his balance with Guam ancestral land. To me, that will be the condition of the transfer.
I think that's what's implied in legal counsel's response, I think. So I think we're good. In essence, they haven't really have finalized anything. We're just like anticipating what would be the scenario if that happened.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Lino?
Oh, I was just putting out my hand, but then since you called me Commissioner Lino here, that's just in the making. We shouldn't be discussing that right now because it hasn't materialized. So we
Well,
could
it was in the report, so it was proper to bring up at least a little bit of a discussion on it. So it was
Okay.
brought up in the report. Yeah,
in this agenda.
yeah, it's on there in the report. It's on
Okay.
Gita's
I didn't see it.
report. So
Okay,
it was
really-
it
I
was
was just
proper
putting
to
out my
bring.
hand, but
Okay.
okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Camacho. Commissioner Camacho.
Mr. Chairman, because we're discussing the subleasing of Smith Bridge. Is there any other details that they could provide us with regarding the sublease? I don't see anything about proposed rent.
We know that it's in the agreement with Smith Bridge that they have they do have the ability to sublease. They would
With
have to
our
notify
approval,
us.
correct?
Yeah, they would have to
Yeah,
notify
with
us,
our
but
approval.
we
Yeah.
are allowing them to sublease. Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
We
I
are?
think,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Chairman,
Okay.
I think the appropriate way to sort of manage the conversation about the subleases at this time is to say that the commission looks forward to, Gita coming forward with a, fully developed proposal
Proposal.
that
Right.
addresses all of the pieces and parts of the proposed transaction, and the commission will consider the entire transaction down the road. But in case anybody was confused, the commission doesn't intend to waive any accounts receivable.
Okay.
Very good. Very good. That's clear. Commissioner Camacho, does that answer your question regarding the ability for Smith Bridge to sublease?
Yes, I think the legal counsel pretty much spelled out what I was thinking, that something more formal needs to be presented before. I mean, yes, we know of the intention, but the discussions are difficult without details. And
Very good.
am I approving this automatically? Absolutely not.
Of course, understood. Yes, there's no approval going on right now. There's just basically Gita's giving us a little bit of information of what's taking place right now. Some activity there between TransSteel and Smith Bridge. Okay, Vice Chair.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I missed out or if I was absent in one of the meetings, but Tony, I don't know, did we with this subleasing, did we authorize subleasing? Is now we have leasees managing subleasing our own properties. I'm not aware of having to approve the other entities subleasing our own properties. Did we approve that?
Yes, we did. It's in we did have some discussions in the past on that, and it's in.
And there might be a
the
section
leasing
in the
agreement.
lease about it. There
Yeah,
might be a
but-
section in the lease about subleasing.
Yeah, they do have to get with us, but they do have the authority to sublease. Gita said that was, I remember bringing that up years ago, and that was something that was not unusual. But legal counsel, if you can weigh in on this is a good question.
Mr. Chairman, it's not authorized. I think it's an option for them, but it doesn't authorize them. I think we authorize subleasing because they have to make a request and then we approve it.
Well, in the past, we kind of like talked about not allowing it, period.
Right.
And then Gita kind of said that it's not unusual that they would have this option on there. So then this is just how I recall it, that we ended up, it's in there in the lease agreement that the option is there for them to do it. Of course, pending our approval, but we wanted to just not allow it, period. So, but it's in the lease now.
And deal directly with us.
Yeah, but they would, and there's an 11% now. If I recall, there's an 11% the portion in that, I guess, would be 11% for any sublease.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference. So the ground lease moves up to what, 11%, Gita, if I'm correct?
For additional rent, that's correct.
Yeah,
That
for
is
additional rent,
stated in the
yeah.
lease agreement.
So we did discuss it years ago, many years ago, and we were of the opinion that no, we don't allow it. But from what Gita, if I recall, what Gita said was that it's not unusual for for companies to sublease. Any further questions?
To me, just a comment, but
Okay, Vice Chair.
to me that seems unusual to me.
It kind of did to me in the past, but
Yeah, but still, now we're like here we are now, people coming into our jurisdiction and starting to ratify their movements within our own jurisdictions. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
we do have the final say, though. Commissioner Camacho's right. They can request for it, and we have to okay it. So she's right on that. So any further questions for Guido? Okay, no further questions. Let's where are we at?
Mr. Chairman, if you would allow me.
Okay, go ahead, Guido.
Yeah, I just want to add when we were covering trans stills in regards to their payment, we do have a current payment proposal plan, and I had last discussions with Mr. John Pearson, who said that he would be paying off his outstanding arrears. The payments have been coming in, and we currently have a payment plan in place. So in other words, what I'm saying is the arrears, he's working on paying off his outstanding arrears with the payment plan in place.
Yes, that's understood. That's understood. Thanks for re-clarifying that. But yes, I think he was adding, I think, an extra $100 or something, right? Typically, it was that.
No, what it was is he was paying $500, and then every 4 months he'll catch up with a lump sum payment of $2,500.
Okay, but I didn't recall any lump sum in any of your report, but you're saying there was a lump sum of 2,000?
Yeah, it's like every 4 months.
So there is a record of us receiving that 2,000.
Yes.
Okay, I stand corrected.
No problem. But he,
Okay, so are we good? Everybody's okay with Gita's report? Okay, we're gonna move down now to item 6, old business, AT&T. AT&T update. Is that's with you, Gita?
I believe Miss Kathy, you had mentioned something in regards to the recording of the.
Oh, okay. Actually, what it was I believe the AT&T update was issued during the GITA report. The RFP for the appraisal report was submitted or was sent out to all the commissioners after the review and input of our legal counsel. Unfortunately, because it's an RFP, we cannot make any discussions on that publicly because we will be violating procurement law. That was number one. Number two, on the AT&T update, it was the month-to-month agreement. The month-to-month agreement, what do you call that I addressed in my report. So we've basically done with the AT&T update.
Oh, okay, so basically this is just redundancy with it here on item 6, old business, because basically we're on track with everything, right? Everything's in
Correct.
motion. We're on track.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Any questions?
Yes. One question,
Okay.
Kat. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. With that, that you just mentioned, with the AT&T matter, I believe once they finalize all the amendments there, that needs to be brought to the legislature. Am I correct?
Not the month-to-month, sir.
But see, the month-to-month is a temporary situation. They're requesting for a final contract with them, and that needs to go to the legislature, to my understanding.
Yes, sir. But that will happen after the appraisal of the lot.
Yeah. What's the status on that?
the appraisal of the lot is in the right now, the RFP I sent it to all the commissioners for their input. What do you call that? Attorney Miller has already reviewed it and submitted his input on the RFP. So as soon as we're done with our review and input, we send it back to Gita so they can advertise.
So is there an update on that from Gita? I see Mary there. Mary
They're
Therese.
actually with the RFP, they're waiting for us to submit to them if we have any other input, because we've already received Attorney Miller's input.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I'm actually kind of relying on our legal counsel's information, and he did bring up some very informative information regarding this matter, and it's very good. So if we follow that criteria, and we're in good hands with the appraisal RFP.
Okay. Okay.
Tony, Gita?
Yes, may I? We also have Mr. Patrick Boulon, the Vice President for Matson, who also would like to address the board in regards to his requests. And also Mr. Dan Swavely is also standing by from Smith Bridge to give us more information on the mitigation plans, as well as other requests into the subleasing requests that they also
Okay,
have.
so that is not down in our agenda somewhere here, right? It's basically dealing with your report, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. And I had asked prior to my report if they would be able to address the
Okay,
request.
okay. Any input, board members? None? Okay, we're good to go. Mr. Patrick Boulon? Is that your name?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, and the rest of the
afternoon.
commission. Yeah, so as Mr. earlier had mentioned, Matson currently has a lease, master lease with the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. We started this lease in 2010, and it's for about a 30-acre property at Polaris Point. At the time of the original lease in 2010, it was envisioned that this property would be used for development at either the lessees or sublessees' cost. Basically an undeveloped parcel of land, eventually to be used for container operations as a container depot, for construction, laydown yard, and then sometime in the future, possibly for warehousing or other logistics activities. So for the past 15 years, Matson has developed about half of the property, and we use it for our own operation purposes. It's sort of an off-dock facility somewhere outside of the port, where we use it for container depot, where we store our chassis that move containers around, and as well as a workshop. And we've used this for our own operations, but we've only used half of the property. The other half has remained idle. The property was envisioned to be used for construction projects. As we all know, the Department of Defense 15 years ago had some big plans that never really materialized until now. And so now that we see all of the projects happening, we're sort of reviving our plans. We're talking to some of the folks that we do business with. And as envisioned in the original master lease, we now see a need to use the remaining part of the property, and then some, even some of the property we're using, as a construction laydown yard. And so a lot of this property is currently undeveloped. It's a jungle, basically. And it's ready for development now, at either the lessee or the sublessee's cost. And so we are seeking approval as required under our master lease agreement, which does allow for sublease with an additional fee. In addition to what Matson's already paying to the Guam Ancestral Land Commissions in Gita, some $27,000 a month. There will be an additional 11% sublease fee paid to Guam Ancestral Lands and Gita, whatever revenues that we generate from a sublease. And so I think the benefit of this sublease is simply not to just do a paper exercise where we become just a broker. There's a real benefit in terms of developing the property and finding the best use for it, as it was intentionally at the beginning of the master lease. Matson has this lease for another 35 years. This current lease is envisioned for 5 years plus another optional 5 years. We don't yet have a lease amount agreed to, but whatever we do arrive at, in addition to what we're already paying on a monthly basis, this stands to earn another 11%, whatever revenue we generate after we develop the property, to the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission as well as Gita. So that's kind of an overview of the project. Happy to take any questions.
Okay, board members, questions for Matson?
So that will be a participation rent, right? The 11%.
Actually, the
Or-
participation rent is only 2.6%, and it's a lower amount.
Yeah, this is different. This is a different case, a different scenario with that.
That's correct. This will earn an actually higher percentage.
Have you submitted the proposal already? I mean, it was presented by Gita. Did you present that, or you just give a hint of it, or do we have that proposal?
Tony, was that presented officially? We have a letter that we.
Oh, can we
sent
get
to-
that then? Can we get that to the board members? A copy of your proposal? And we'll review it.
Sure.
Yes, it was included in the report. My apologies for that. It was included.
It was included. And is it a separate document that we got in the packet? Is it a separate document outlining the details, or is it just a summary?
Yes, it is a separate letter along with the proposed sketch.
Okay, that's I see it. Notice to sublease parcel N14, Polaris Point. Is that the one?
Yes,
That's correct.
it was just their request. Yes, sir.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, because this item again comes under the agenda item of Gita report
Right.
and wasn't noticed to the public as an action item where there was the potential that the commission would, approve or disapprove or do something else on the item. We can chat about this opportunity as much as you want, but we're going to have to come back at a future meeting where this specific sublease opportunity will have to be noticed as an action item with a potential vote before we can take any official action.
Yes, of course. I appreciate that, legal counsel. Yes, we wanted to take a look at it before our next meeting and the other meetings to take a look at the proposal. So, okay, it is there. Not to take away anything from our staff at GALC. We basically just got a lot of the information now, so we'll have enough time to take a look at the proposal. I know there's another proposal coming up from Smith-Bridge. So I appreciate your appearing before the board, Mr. Balone.
Yes, and thank you for your
And
time.
if anybody has any other questions for him right now regarding this, apparently it's for a contract that Black Construction got for the breakwater, if I recall it, and they need a lay-down yard.
That's correct.
Yeah, lay-down yard for the material. You did bring up some development other than that or something, Mr. Balone, or is that's different?
Well, I was just referring to the, the fact that, majority of the property they want to sublease is undeveloped. And that, there will need to be some development of that property in order.
Got
for
it.
to-
Yeah, understood. I see. Real quick, Gita, regarding the Matson property that we had some issues with the hazardous material. I remember that. What is that already addressed and taken care of? Remember, we took that out for a little bit, for a while, and then by the way, is Matson paying for that now? Remember, we kind of like took that out of the the
Yes, the
military.
yes, it's all been cleaned up already, Mr. Chairman.
So is Matson paying for that piece?
Joe's here?
We took that out.
Yes, yes, yes. They're paying for everything now.
Oh, so they're paying for everything now. Okay.
Yes,
Okay, very good. And that they started paying years ago.
yes. Several years ago, yeah,
Okay.
after the
cleanup.
contaminants were cleared.
Yeah, okay, very good. How many acres was that, by the way? That was like 5 acres or something that was needing
I'm-
cleanup? Remember, there was contamination that was buried.
Possibly, yeah, I think possibly, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mike,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Cruz, yeah?
let me just clarify. With regard to Matson, the contamination that was there was cleaned.
Right,
That's all taken care of.
right.
With regard to Smith Ridge, that's a different story.
Yes,
I
understood.
mean, okay,
Understood. I was just referring to that particular
with
piece
regard,
to
Matson,
Matson. I
right?
believe it was
yes,
5 acres or something or less or something,
Yeah,
and we had to.
that was
They came
cleaned.
to us and asked us to take it out until they cleaned it up because they couldn't use the property. The property, it was understood they couldn't use it. So right now it's all cleaned up, and Matson is actually using the property or has control of the property, and they are paying rent on that piece. Also, okay, correct? Okay, very good.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Any other questions for Matson? Board
Yeah,
members?
just for clarification, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Vice Chair?
So the sublease is talking about the extra 15 the 15 acres. Is that what, am I correct there, Mr. Malone? 15
actually-
acres?
It'll be a little bit more than 15. We're currently using about 15 acres. And
So half
we're-
of the property.
Yeah, we're gonna allow them to take some of what we're using as our own container yard because they've asked for a certain amount of property to, in line with what their needs are for the project. And so we're gonna give up what we're already using and then continue to develop the rest of the undeveloped land. So they'll probably end up with, of the 30 acres, they'll probably end up with about 19, and then we'll have the balance that we'll continue to use for our own purposes.
Wow. So more than half of the property is what you're looking at.
Probably more than half. Yes, that's correct, sir.
All right.
And I understand from Black, and maybe it's another agenda item here is.
You're very low right now. I can barely hear what you.
Sorry, so from my understanding is Black actually needs even more property than the 19 that they've asked us for, and I know they're sourcing other pieces from other places for this very important, as you all know, very important project for the harbor.
Okay. Thanks for that extra info. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, hey, thank you again, Matson. We're gonna look at your proposal and we're gonna have another meeting on the matter.
Thank you very much, Mr.
And
Chairman.
hopefully you'll be available to appear before the board again if we have any other further questions.
Sure, not a problem.
Okay, so Gita, the next one, is it dealing with Mr. Swavely or is it?
Yes, Mr. Dan Swavely,
Okay,
will be addressing the board in regards to their sublease Smith Bridge property.
okay. Mr. Swavely, and by the way, thank you again, Mr. Bulan. Thank you.
Thank you,
Dan
Mr.
Sweetie, how are you? Good
Yeah,
to see
thank you. I'm fine. Thank you very much. Sorry about your
Okay.
cataract. I went through that too.
you. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay.
Let me try to wrap this up as quickly as possible here. It can get a little complicated. So we were originally looking at the Polaris Point site because we understood that there were a couple of 2 or 3 very big projects coming up in central Guam. And our business in this case is providing concrete. And if we can provide concrete closer to the place it's going to be used, everybody wins. Yeah. So that's why we came in with our original proposal about a concrete batch plant and warehousing and things like that. And we are still totally wrapped around that. Now, in Tony's report, and thank you for that, Tone, he correctly reported 4 items that we just wanted broached at this time. So we have an opportunity to dialogue a little bit if you have questions. I'm going to follow up with all 4 with a formal request. You know, I'll vet it through Gita first so that you have all the details in front of you. But really briefly, here's what they are. Since we already talked about trans steel, I'll talk about that one first. So we have this rectangular 13 acres, and right in the middle of it is a ½ acre by trans steel. Okay. When you see our site plan, our master plan, you will see it's a complicated site plan. There's a lot of things going on. And man, that ½ acre right in the middle bordering Polaris Point Road is a real inconvenience. So in discussing things with Mr. Pearson, we have, the 2 of us have come to agreement that we're going to move him off to the side to a corner where it's out of our operations. He gets the same amount of property. And what we'd like to do is we'll take that ½ acre and he will continue to be your lessee for the other ½ acre. So it's an equal exchange for everything. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Certainly open to your suggestions for anything. Secondly, we also would like to, and I don't quite think sublease is the correct terminology here, but I'm going to use it. We would also like to sublease 3 acres to Black Construction. Yeah. Now, when I say sublease, I mean this. Smithbridge remains in full responsibility, full control of the property. We're responsible for paying the rent and for anything that goes on there. We just have this subtenant, so to speak, who we're going to lease it from. It's the same rent that we're going to be paying you, the same rent that we would pay, just like we're doing with the Limtiaco 3 acre sublease. That's what the black part is about. And Patrick was correct. This is all wrapped around the very important glass breakwater improvements project, which just quickly, if you've ever been out there, you've seen all those. Now they're called acropods. We used to call them tetrapods. They're like those jacks with the 4 or 5 different legs sticking out. So from one end of the leg to the other end of the leg, it's like 10 feet. Okay. We put 50 tons of concrete into one of those molds, and we're going to be making like 6 out. So it's a lot of concrete. It's a lot going on. And this is what our sublease, or excuse me, our lease with you is going to be all about for the next few years. Now, I will follow up with a request to let us, you're right, our lease says we can do it, but we need your approval first, right? So I'll outline it all in detail for your review. The third item is the mitigation of the property. So we had 13 acres, only paid for 8 because 5 was contaminated. The deal is we would arrange for it. We would take care of all the contamination, but you would pay for the cost of the mitigation. All right. So we're offering a different arrangement. We got the clearing permit from Public Works, as Tony mentioned, in mid-January. We started it immediately. Our clearing is finished. We have 3 acres that are cleared. We have 2 more acres that are occupied by a big pile of waste, scrap metal, tires, and other junk. Okay. Now, our plan is to do this. Our plan is to move the scrap metal to a scrap yard, take the tires and shred them and move them off island in an empty ship that's bringing us cement. So it would not normally go back empty. The hazardous waste, the nasties as we call it, we already paid Unitech to go in there, identify those, encapsulate those and ship them off island. That's gone. So this still leaves about 13,000 cubic yards of junk down there that we cleared. Our idea is this. Yes, our lease says you're going to pay us to take it wherever it goes. Well, some of it goes to certain sites up north, others go to Leon sanitary landfill, et cetera, et cetera. We did the math, folks. It's about 350 truckloads of that stuff, okay? And when you add up what's the truck rental and the driver and the disposal fee, we're talking over $500,000, okay? Rent offset for that, it's gonna, we won't be paying rent for the next several years. That's not the way we want to go. Here's a better option that we're suggesting, and I'm going to, again, present it all in writing. Actually, I have it finished. I just wanted to talk to you first about it. We're going to build this structure, a reinforced concrete structure. We call it an encapsulating structure, and put all that junk in that structure, seal it up. It's like a coffin. That's it. Gone forever, permanent. Now, we'll do that completely at our expense. You will incur $0 in mitigation. What we need is your approval to, first of all, build that. I'm going to call it coffin. That sounded pretty good. I'm going to build that coffin right now for everything, and let us leave it there after our lease runs out. Okay? Now, true, the lease says we got to return the property in a similar manner that we first leased it from, okay? I'm thinking this is kind of similar because before, those 13,000 cubic yards of waste were all spread all over 5 acres. Now we're putting it down. It's the same waste, it's the same waste. We're just going to put it down in this concrete structure. That's what we're asking you to do. And there's only one contingent to that plan. EPA has to approve. All right. Now, I haven't even started talking with EPA yet, but I'm very confident that they're going to agree, because first of all, this is saving 13,000 cubic yards of waste that would go into a landfill. All right. That's a big deal. So yeah, they ought to do it. We'll build it to their specifications. It'll be airtight, watertight. Bingo, done. That is our request for encapsulating the mitigation. That would end our mitigation problem right there. All right. No cost to you. And then number 4, I thought so too. Number 4 is, for sure, we are going to come in with an extension request. Our batch plant, we don't need the extension for. Our other operations down there, we don't really need an extension for. There are 4 phases of this, 4 categories of this operation. The cement warehouse, yeah, we're not going to build that unless we can get an extension, because I can't move it. The batch plant, these days, all those silos and all that machinery and everything like that, man, we can wrap it up and move it to another site. All that technology's changed these days, but not the warehouse. And while we don't need the warehouse to do this operation, we need it to do it efficiently, right? And the other fact that we cannot forget is that a batch plant in the middle of Guam is going to make concrete delivered at a lot cheaper price than the stuff that's coming now from Jigo, Smithbridge, Manila, Hawaiian Rock, Ukadu, Cortec, so it's gonna benefit everybody. So we are going to be looking for, and with your approval, we'll negotiate everything, of course. It doesn't move without your okay. That's the 4th item that Tony broached for us as a report of our progress report. Now, I'm happy to answer any of your questions, but know this, I'm going to present everyone in detail for you. So that, and if I don't answer all your questions, I'm here every meeting, right? We'll hammer it out. Thank you.
Okay, so just Masi, Dan, for that informative proposal there. I want to ask you real quick, 350 truckloads of waste material? Yeah. Is it metal waste? It's metal waste?
Oh, well, no. Well, that's part of it is metal, but just do the math. We have 13,000 cubic yards. Yeah. And a truck, because it's not compacted, typical dump truck is 10 to 12 cubic yards. So it's a monster of a problem. And we believe the way to solve it is don't move it. Don't move it. Just encapsulate it permanently on site. And those 3 acres that we have already cleared, we're ready to increase our rent for those 3 acres. And as soon as we get the 13,000 cubic yards of that waste, plus the metal, plus the tires out of there, we'll pay for the other 2 acres, right?
I see. So back to that encasement, the concrete. Is it? You said it's concrete or some kind of something encasement, and is it above ground or below ground, and how
Above
big?
ground, sir. It's above ground.
Above ground.
Yeah, the water table is only about 5 feet.
Okay, and how I see. Yeah, and how big?
Yeah, we can't go to-
How big? How is it going to take an acre or two or what?
Oh
how
no!
big?
Oh no! 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 I have it
No?
all. I have it all in the site plan.
Okay,
Uh,
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
which is part of it. If you see here, this is the site plan. This is our 13 acres. Yeah, only this part here is the encapsulated structure.
I see.
And
So
frankly,
if it gets more feasible way into the future to remove it, it can just easily be removed again, right? Or something.
well, I don't know how easily because it's got all that nasty
But it's
stuff.
not hazardous anymore, right? It's
No,
just
no. Unitech took all that away.
took all that stuff out.
Yeah, and
Okay,
we
I just
have,
like
we
to,
have
on the
records of
side,
that.
get with Gita later on and find out how we got 350 truckloads of throughout the years. I guess it's
know.
possible to get that all in there at
I don't know
those
either.
other
I think-
companies or something.
I
That's
think if
crazy.
all of us would have actually spent more time studying the extent of contamination, we always call it the contaminated 5 acres, right?
Yeah.
That's what we called it. If we would have studied it a little bit more, maybe Smithbridge would have walked away from the thing to begin with. But the fact of the matter is, we are going to be providing 250 cubic yards of concrete every day, 6 days a week for several years. We need every.
Got it. Okay, I'd like to give the board an opportunity to ask questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
is it possible to get the dimensions of this concrete
encasement.
encapsulated? Yeah. Do you have a
Yeah.
dimension for it?
Yes, I do. It's about 100 meters by about 28 meters.
28 meters?
Yeah.
100 meters by 28.
Yeah, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. It's about 100 by 50 meters. By 50 meters. And here's what we're going to do. This is the rest of it that makes sense. In order to multiple use the area down there, we need to store lots of aggregate, right, for the concrete. On top of this concrete structure, we are going to build areas to put aggregate in there, which is going to be right next to our batch plant, so we can take it from there right over to the batch plant. So it's not just going to be, from our purposes, just this structure out there. Okay, that's a single purpose. No, we're going to use it, the top of it. So you have this structure, and then this is the roof, and then on top of it, we're going to cover parts of it. And that's where we're going to put aggregate.
So you're going to utilize the whole property.
Yeah,
it's not going to be a dead weight property there.
That's why I'm saying we can reclaim that and pay the rent, because technically it's reclaimed.
Well, interesting. We'll get with Gita on that. It's a very interesting proposal. And if you get Gita, Gita on board with this, it's something for us to seriously take a look at.
Yeah.
Thank you. I realize it's a little complicated. I just wanted
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, Commissioner Camacho, I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to envision what this 100 meter by 50 meter purpose would be beyond storing aggregate. I'm thinking, could it be possible that you build a wall so that it could be a fence line perhaps, or something of that effect, and maybe useful for future tenants?
Well, that's a good point. Now, let's just talk about the structure that's going to encapsulate all that, right? That is going to be airtight. No doors, no windows, no portholes, nothing. Or EPA is not going to approve it unless it's airtight, okay? But then these roofs and bins atop of it, yeah, I mean, you're right. That could very well serve in the future as the, let's just say, the skeleton of a different type of, for a different type of use. Yeah, that's a good point. And I will, how about this? I will have drawn up a conceptual 3D mock-up of this whole thing, right? So you don't have to go through the 52 pages that I had to of these plans. You know,
Oh,
you
that's
could just-
very good. Very good.
pretty pictures, right? Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
that's a good idea. Thank you.
Mr. Camacho? You're
Thank
still
you.
there.
Yeah, thank you for that explanation and also for the offer on the mock-up of this so that we can see what we're talking about. I think it's
It'd be
a
helpful for me
good
too.
idea, but I want to think beyond storing aggregate because we don't know past the lease. I mean, are we going to end up with a monstrosity of a concrete encapsulated thing with junk inside?
Well, it's going to be a box, really. I mean, it ain't pretty. It's going to be a box. We can paint it, but it's still going to be a box.
No,
right?
no. And but what would you do with it beyond that? I mean, it's a stage, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What could you do with a concrete box above it? So, anyways, just thinking if there's another way. Maybe if it's a fence line or something to that effect. It serves dual, multi-purpose, and I think you brought that up as well.
Good. I'll work on that. Actually, I'll
Well,
work-
if we look at it like it's just basically part of the property is like a hill, and right, then we're using the space above it, and that's why you're finding some way to still utilize the property, and then because the cost to compensate you for removing that with 350 truckloads, you're saying, and you're not gonna be paying rent to us for years.
we're only going to be paying at the end of the 13 acres, what, like 14,300 or something a month.
Yeah.
You know? So that'd be a rent offset for years.
Well, you can include those numbers with Gita, and then we'll make the comparables and stuff like that. Appreciate that.
That'll be part of my formal report.
Okay. Any other questions for
I
Mr.
have
Swain?
I have a question. Dan,
Sure.
have those waste that you said within that will be placed in a 328 feet by 164 feet
Something like that.
structure, have they been consolidated already, or you need to bring them all together
Oh, they're on a big pile.
already?
Like, yeah.
So we
they're
can
on
do a visual. We can
on a
do a
big
visit
pile
and
that'll
take a look at that.
between that big pile and the tires and the scrap metal and some of the green waste that we hope to just burn, it's 2 acres. You know, I mean, that's $2,200 a month of rent you could be collecting right there. It was, the site was
Yeah,
immense.
we'd like to.
Don't get me wrong.
We need to
The
look
site
at do a visual on that. Get an idea what
We
we're
are
talking about.
very-
You know, I need
We
to get
are
a visual.
very, very happy to be your tenant at Polaris Point, and you will see we will continue to work with you on matters like this and others as it goes up. We're very happy to be your tenant out there. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dan, for that presentation and explanation. Any other further questions for him before we move on to the next? Okay, Gita, is there another one? I see Mr. Brown, Andrew Brown. Is
That's with
Yes,
Joey.
I'm on here today.
and you're with
Mr. Chairman, that'll be lot 10190, that's
Oh, I
R1.
see.
that
Okay,
Joey will
okay,
be-
so we're done with Dan. Thank you again, Dan. For that informative option.
Very welcome. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
next month. We'll see you next
Okay,
month.
take care. We're down to item 7, new business then. A, lot 10190-R1, Finagayan, and then B, request for access lots 192 and 192-1 PD. Okay, Mr. Brown, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board. My name is Andrew Brown. I work for the United States Army Corps of Engineers. I've been on island for about the last 7 months doing acquisition support work for INDOPACOM. and the Guam Defense System, the 360-degree defense of Guam. The site in South Finnegayan, 10190-R1, is within the boundaries of what I think we're going to consider as a safety buffer for what we're calling GDS Site 2. There's only 0.27 of an acre that's affected there. There is a possibility that we come back with a formal request in the future to request an easement for approximately 0.88 acres of that property, so about almost 9/10 of an acre. The purpose of the meeting today was to just see if we could get an administrative approval to have the director sign a right of entry so I can conduct survey work so that I can actually get an accurate description of the property and come back with a formal request to the board.
I see. Kathy, and Joey, with regard to that, is that the property that's in dispute right now?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
No,
Yes,
101.
that is.
Mr. Guerrero, let me clarify something. So the 10190-R1, I was under the impression that that property is controlled by the Guam Ancestral Land Commission. And then the other two lots that are at issue, the 5309 and 5312, those are the two parcels that are in question. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. The 5309 and the 5312, I'm not sure if I can study. We don't have any question as far as who owns that. The 10190-R1, we currently own it, but there is a land owner that is claiming that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
But we do have control
Okay,
of
so
it right now. We do have control of it now, but there's a claim of interest or a claim of ownership for it.
Yeah,
right now.
somebody's there's estate of Juan Ampingo Pangilinan that submitted a land registration map, and I'm not sure what the plans of the family are now, if they're going to proceed with that.
Understood. I do have contact with the. I do have contact with the trust that represents the parcel 5309 and 5312 because we will be requesting rights of entry from that property owner as well to conduct surveys during the same time period, hopefully beginning the end of this month. Hope to conduct a cursory environmental inspection for the SHPO, as well as do a site survey so that I can get legal descriptions for all three of those parcels, basically between 28 March and 28 March and 28 May. That's my time frame.
Okay, I don't have any issues with it, but board members, vice chair, and board members, what's your? You have any questions for it? I don't have any issues with it.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, vice chair.
Yeah, is this in alignment in conjunction with the Guam Missile Defense System that is being developed?
Yes, sir,
Mr. Brown?
it is.
And you're only requesting
yes, sir,
and you're requesting access easement, and you're going to conduct surveys.
That's correct. I'm technically requesting a right of entry for that property.
Right of entry?
I would like to do that for a 24-month period, because after the surveys, in the event we have to go back on that property to do any kind of investigative work, it would be beneficial to both parties if we had a 24-month period there, so I can put information together to do a formal request for an acquisition by easement in the future.
Okay. Do you have a tentative? A map indicating your rights of entry that you're requesting? Do you have a map laid out already on this matter?
I do. It's not something that I can share in this setting. I have some classified information that's part of the defense system and the site design for the radars that are on that site. And I'll be happy to provide those to Mr. Guerrero so he can provide those for your review.
Yeah. Yeah, basically we want to see how it's going to look, and also with the other boundaries, I mean, within the other the land lots, the parcels within the surrounding area. That's basically if you can, with dealing with surveying and access, with working collaboratively with the military, with if there's any advantageous effects for the land, the lot parcels around within the area, because many of our lands are unsurveyed lands. And, I just wanted to take a look at that. Maybe you can provide us, some positives that we can consider, you know what I mean? Work together harmoniously.
I do. I do. So the portion of the Guam Ancestral Land Commission parcel that's affected, if you know the very southeastern portion of that property, there's like a finger that looks like the state of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
It's under an acre of that property that's affected. Now, I will tell you this: there are between 19 and 21 acres affected between parcels 5309 and 5312. That would be the Aguan Trust. But until I get an accurate survey, I won't know the totals on those two properties. So I'm expecting it to be between 20 and 22 acres total between the three parcels. Now, one thing that was shared with me from the trust and the family for the other two parcels is same thing that you just mentioned. They don't have current survey information for that property. So we've actually hired a local surveyor, and we're going to provide information to them after our survey is complete so that they can complete surveys for the remainder of their properties.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, very good. And that, thank you, Mr. Brown. And, all that information, don't really pivot it, to all of us, but just direct that to our land agent there, Mr. Joey Leon Guerrero, and our acting director. That way they can, just give us a brief, scenario about it. We don't need too much details as long as it's, we get a basic understanding of what's going to happen within those properties. The surrounding properties.
Right now, my only concern is being able to conduct a physical land survey and a cursory environmental inspection so that we can satisfy the SHPO and our environmental requirements. And then I'll be in a better position once Public Works and NAFAC has authorized information for release. Right now, I'm dealing with some classified information because of the nature of the activities that go on the other side of the wire. But I will absolutely share everything I can.
And for the board, for the board members, he's saying, if I'm correct, it only affects about 0.8 or 0.9 of an acre. So we're looking at a quarter acre of property. If at all, it's going to affect our property. Is that how I'm understanding what you're saying?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yeah.
The safety buffers, I have those designed now. It's actually 0.27 of an acre. That parcel is actually 377 acres.
Wow. So
but
0.2 is barely, yeah. It's okay.
Correct. But in order for me to draw a definitive boundary between all three parcels for a safety buffer, that request is probably going to be somewhere between 0.88 and 0.9 of an acre.
Okay.
Of that 377 acre parcel.
Got it. Okay. Any further questions?
No, sir. I will tell you this, that I'll immediately follow those surveys up with an appraisal because that'll be part of the formal request that we come back to your board with.
Okay. So where are we at right now? What do we need? What do we need to do?
Really, it's just an administrative action. If I could have the director sign that right of entry, granting me 24-month access to just that southeastern portion of that property so that I can have a survey contractor on. That's the only thing we're requesting now. And then in the future, every time that we need to have somebody access that property, I'll make that notice to the committee, and they'll have a schedule of events.
Okay, so this is just basically access to the property for him to do his research and his survey of the property.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Legal counsel, you want to weigh in on this for anything?
No, Mr. Chairman, other than to say, you know, what the military is asking us for is if commission member would make a motion to authorize your acting executive director to sign the right of entry agreement. And if we can just have the commission vote to authorize Kathy to sign the agreement, I think everybody would be happy for today.
I'm good with it if everybody else is fine with it. Kathy, you had your hands up? You're on mute.
I wanted to ask the board if they still would want Mr. Brown to submit his formal letter of request to
Yes.
to us.
Yes.
Yes.
Legal counsel?
Whatever information the board thinks, the commission thinks is necessary in order to take action, that's certainly up to you all. The action item here is to authorize Kathy to sign the right of entry agreement.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll await your formal request. Mr. Brown?
Thank you very much. I'll provide the formal request, the maps, and the right of entry document to you.
And then maybe we can address it on our next meeting.
Oh,
yes.
Or sooner.
I believe Attorney Miller said that you can vote on whether or not we are going to allow me to sign the request. Correct, Attorney Miller?
Proposal?
Yes, it's up to the commission if you want to vote to give Kathy the discretion to sign when she's had an opportunity to review all the documents. But if you all would like to see all these documents before you formally authorize anybody to sign anything, then we'll hold the action item over till next month.
Okay.
Or let's have it, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I would like that, and also we can also have a special meeting. For the mere fact that the right to access could mean just a trail or a drive-through. I don't know what it is. So we would like to have that.
Vice Chair, I agree. Vice Chair, what we'll do, Mr. Brown, is go ahead and put in your formal request to the our acting director, and then she could direct us to have if we need to, we can have a special meeting real quick just to approve it. And we can look it over before the special meeting and then address it then. So are you okay with that?
Yeah. Yes, my request would be for normal access to the property. It'll be foot traffic for a land survey crew.
Okay, we'll go ahead and
nothing major.
Okay, we'll wait for your formal request and then we'll act on it. Whether on our next meeting or a special meeting. Okay? Very good. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you for appearing.
If anybody has any questions that would help speed that up, I know in talks, this all happened really quick over the last 10 days.
This could happen real fast. We could actually have
trying to execute a contract.
Yeah, we could address this real quick on our next open available open government, as long as we meet the requirements of the open government law. We could have a special meeting and address it within the next week and a half or 2 weeks. Week and a half. Is that okay?
Thank you very much.
We'll address it. We'll make that a priority for you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any further questions?
No, because you already decided.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay. Thank you, and we'll address this for you. Okay, we're gonna move down to, I guess, is that different? Well, B, request for access lots 192 and 192-1 PD. Is that Mr. Weir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Weir? Okay, Mr. Weir? You're on mute?
Yes, I unmuted. Yes, I am asking for access to this property primarily for lot 192, but the other lot is adjacent to that and goes upstream from that lot. The reason for this is there is a large historic structure on lot 192. This is a pre-war site for a power plant. This is a huge structure. The walls are 4 feet thick in some instances, reinforced with rebar. It goes up maybe 15, 20 feet high in places. And it's probably about the size of the Matson headquarters building there at the road into the port. It's easily accessible and has been accessed, informally. I've been in that property twice in the last year, but since it is managed by the Ancestral Land Commission, it seems reasonable to me to at least make you aware that, this is there and people want to get in. There are 2 other entities which have expressed some interest in being able to access as well. One is the Guam Boonie Stompers, and the other is the Joint Region Marianas Public Access Program. These are hiking groups that might be interested in seeing historic sites. Do you have questions?
Okay, could you just clarify again what your real quick, just your request is?
To have permission to go onto that site to look at it.
Let's see.
Hike into the area.
Okay, board members? I have no issues with it that I see.
Should we just request for some kind of waiver of liability?
Yes, we should include that. Very good. I'm glad you brought that up.
I think that's a reasonable thing to request.
Okay, I'm for it. If no one has any other objections to it.
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Vice Chair.
Yeah,
You're good.
can you, I just got disconnected. I don't know, my computer, my laptop just
That's okay.
died
I
out.
can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do this, but what was the request again? Can you repeat
Just to have
that, sir?
access to that access to the property.
Which property?
Wants to go and hike it. The one in PD, 192 and 192-1. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, 190, yeah, 92-1. Joey, do we own both properties?
Yes, sir. They're currently under our office, but there is an original landowner for lot 192. But with Mr. Weir's statement about the pre-war structure, I don't think that's pre-war. So I'm not sure if we're even giving him permission on the right lot. I'm looking at Google Earth and I don't see any structure that he's describing on Google Earth.
Mr. Weir, are you positive that's the right lot? These are the 2 right lots?
Yes, I am positive that structure is not visible on Google Earth because it's overgrown with vegetation.
And what is your particular interest in that area for going in, sir?
It's a historic site.
Is it listed on the register?
I doubt it.
Are you a
Wow.
World War II veteran?
No, my father was.
Wow.
So, Joey, just for clarification, I think that's near the area where the Sasa area, is that marine preserve along the wetlands area? Am I correct?
It's right at the end of the road into Polaris Point.
Yep, that is marine preserve area there. And those, yeah. No, I just wanted to know.
There's no marine preserve there.
Yeah, the whole entire harbor there is a marine preserve.
Right. Well, this is on the mountainside of the
the mountainside across the street.
Yes.
Is it? Joey, let me ask this question is to Joey. Can you check who the landowners are there within that area? We don't want you to get shot there, sir. We have people farming there in that area.
That's why I'm asking. There is no development of any sort there. I have spoken to the people who are adjacent to it.
Okay.
That's owned by the Cruz family.
Right.
And
I'm on ancestral lands meeting. Yeah. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know who owns or who is requesting ownership for this parcel.
10 minutes.
We would, Joey.
Yes, sir.
Could you, are you familiar with that area? Because that could be other landowners' property, correct? That are set to be released. Am I correct? Or has been already released, but they have not been, coming there to check their lands.
This
I'm sorry. Go
property.
ahead.
This property, my understanding is that it has not been surveyed, and therefore the people who are claiming it have no rights at this point. That's why I'm talking to the Ancestral Land Commission.
So, Joey, have you identified that area he's talking about?
Yes, sir. So that's attached to the packet. I've
okay.
I don't know if you want me to share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, can I just add something real quick? Now that we still have Mr. Brown. I believe Mr. Brown is still. Can we also include Kathy that liability issue? I mean, that identifies ancestral lands off of. I don't know if that goes without saying, but I think we should also include that for Mr. Brown, that we're not liable for any accidents or something.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
about that. Go ahead, Joey.
Yes. And my agreements is drafted indemnify your commission, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Joey.
Okay, so Mr. Chair and board members, this is 192-1.
Can you see that, Mr. Weir?
192.
I can see that.
So is this within this area? Is this where you're planning on hiking and getting?
This structure is within the bottom left corner or left quarter of this property.
So around here?
Maybe in just a little farther.
Okay.
It right about where your cursor is now.
Well, look at that. It looks like a structure there. Huh?
There is a very large structure there. It's unbelievable.
Really? Is that not like somebody's ranch and they abandoned it or something like 10 years ago or something?
No. This is like I say, there are concrete walls there that are 4 feet thick. And it's obviously I have plans for it that Dave Lotz located that were historic plans. When I looked at it originally I first saw this maybe 20 years ago, following maybe Pong Song Hwa, saw a little bit of concrete sticking up and thought maybe this was a Japanese bunker. And I went in and here's this huge property. And
When you say historical, like give us a date or an estimate or something.
1938, I believe, was 39 was in that area was when it was construction was begun.
Oh, I see. I was thinking like it was in the thousands or 500 or 800. So okay,
No,
so
no.
it's fairly recent.
This is a naval structure.
Well, it's a naval structure. Okay, got it. And it would qualify as historical.
Early American period or naval
Wow.
administration period.
Wow, interesting.
It's as historic as, say, the Pan Am Hotel or structures of that era.
That's a naval administration period.
Okay, and Joey, you're saying we have a claimant for this piece, right?
We have an original landowner for the property, but looking at the records, it looks like there may be, there's no direct descendant, so it might have to go. I believe it's the nephews and nieces that are that filed a claim with Attorney John Bond. So I believe that is why we haven't had anybody file a claim, is because the original landowner is deceased. And so we're going to have to reach out to maybe the nieces and nephews.
So there is tax rolls for it though, right?
Yeah, yes.
So there is an original landowner. Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is, when I was looking through the John Bond files, the military had to give an extension to the family that was living on that because the military wanted them evicted after they condemned the property. So that's why I'm saying it could not be a pre-war building because there was still the family still staying on that property.
Interesting.
So I mean, I have the document, and I can share it with you guys, but
Would be just my cord, right?
But if you're saying pre-war, they had the family would have had a concrete.
No, no.
This had to be done before World War II. There's no way that anyone would have invested that kind of money after the war and it not been.
I see.
Not been known.
No, it had to be after the war because the military condemned the property after the war.
They might have condemned it after the war, but they were working on it before.
Or they're working.
The military did what they wanted in those days.
Yeah, it could have been a depot station right after the war because Guam became the home depot.
After the war, but not before the war.
The date on this map is 38, I believe.
1938?
Yes.
That's pre-war.
Okay, let me ask, do we have any reservations about giving him access to the property? Because I don't, I'm curious. I'd like to find out what is that? Be honest with you two.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
I have one more comment though.
Sure.
Could we put a timeline on this authorization?
Well, how long were you asking, Mr. Weir?
For myself, like I mentioned, I've already been in there 3 times in the last 20 years, and other people have been as well. My primary reason, I began doing this several months ago, and the board has not met, and this land is very weather dependent on access because it's part of the year it's covered with water, I think.
Okay, let me ask you, you ain't going there with like jackhammers and backhoes and
no
and bulldozers. Huh?
No. This is strictly a foot access site.
Well, so
Uh,
our Commissioner Camacho was asking the time frame. So how much time do you need for permission on that?
For myself, I don't. For these hiking groups, I would envision them wanting this, until it goes underwater in the next few
Oh, I
years.
see. So you're asking us to provide access for hiking
That's right. For the
for
Guam
people
Booney,
to,
for Guam Booney Stompers and for the Joint Region Marianas Public Access Program.
well, we
These-
already have some properties up in the back road to
The-
Anderson that we do allow hikers and stuff like
Right.
that. So I'm not
The-
sure.
the- These are organized groups. They, they monitor their people that go in. They're not like some of the other groups that we have. And, if you press me, I'll give you some names of people that I would be a little less.
Okay, let me ask the board something and ask you something. What would be the negative or the risk for the board to give this access to the property? What would be the Commissioner Whistling, your hands are up.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Eclevea. This is Commissioner Westling. I would like to see, like we've requested of other parties, just a formal request. This is the first time that I'm becoming aware of this property that Ancestral Lands may have. Joey has explained that there is an original owner. There may be a claim coming up on it, and I would like to see something, like I said, a formal request describing in detail what this grant of access would entail. I'd like to probably go down there and just take a look at the property since this is the first time I'm becoming aware of it. And certainly, as Commissioner Camacho stated earlier, about protecting the interest of the Guam ancestral lands from any kind of liability against any injuries. Because if we just give a blanket, a permission to go, I think there comes other responsibilities as well. And Dr. Ware, the request that you were asking for is for yourself personally, and you are asking in behalf of other possible civic or organizations that I'm going to assume, have they asked you to represent them in this request?
They have.
They have, okay.
What the Booney Stompers, one of the Dave Lotz, who accompanied me the last time I went in, is
Sure.
He's well known. He's a Booney Stomper. The Marianas, the military group, the lady that was in charge of that has moved on, but she said it would be reasonable to include them. I would be happy to go down to your office and talk to your director or whatever their name is, and show pictures, give them the plans and so forth, and tell them as much about this site as I can. The site, if it's dry, is easily accessible. If you wanted to go down there, I would be happy to take you down there.
I appreciate that, Dr. Ware, and I may take you up on that offer. I just, recommend to my board members that we don't just, easily grant access to the property, because once we know that, that if we are indeed the owners of the property and granting people access to it, there comes a level of liability. Okay, it's different if people are just going in, unknowing who the owners are, and in a sense trespassing. And if they get hurt, I believe the law would look at it and said, well, you were trespassing, you assumed the risk. But once a property owner grants access, then,
Yeah.
we assume risk, and I don't want that to happen. And I can understand, Dr. Ware's request, and, anything that's historic on Guam, I am all for, accessing it, and then, in some means, provide, preservation of that. But I would like to see a formal request and all the documentation, maps, pictures, whatever you have, and possibly take a visit down there as well before I would give, would vote to approve such a request.
Yeah, and I think all those are reasonable things. Like I say, this property, to kind of put it in perspective, is probably equal to the governor's, the Spanish governor's residence on, Plaza de España. It's a
I see.
big
I see.
structure.
Okay. That's managed to stay well hidden all these years.
Yeah, well, it's completely covered up with trees and vegetation, and even though it's maybe 50 yards from the road, yeah, if you didn't know
Okay.
it was there, you wouldn't see it.
Okay, well, I would appreciate you, contacting our acting director, Kathy Bloss, and then setting up an appointment with her, and then delivering the documentation so that we can, the board, so that the board can have time to review it. Thank you very much.
Okay, just to clarify, I believe, Mr. Weir, you did bring in a request last year, correct? I think the board just wasn't able to meet.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Do you have internet access at your office?
You mean Wi-Fi or just internet, like
Wi-Fi,
email?
Wi-Fi.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Yes, they do.
Okay, so I'll set up an appointment and come down, and I've got pictures, I've got maps, and Dave Lotz has probably more information even than I do, because he's done the technical research on it.
Okay, can you work closely with Joey and then with the director?
Joey,
don't get so dirty, okay? Come back.
Joey's our land.
Joey's last name is
Leon Guerrero.
Leon Guerrero. Okay.
Yeah, he's right here. You'll see him on the screen.
Will do.
And then Kathy, you can go ahead and bring it back up to us when things look in order.
Yes, sir.
And including the liability.
Yes, sir.
The liability issues, so that would be squared away.
Yes, sir. I'll have I'll send the liability form to Attorney Miller for him to review.
Okay, and anything else?
Mr. Chair?
I'm sorry, Vice Chair.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Commissioner Westling, because, he's indicated that there would be, other individuals being accompanied into that area. And just for your information, it doesn't matter if the waiver exists or not. Whoever owns the land, if anything happens, just automatically by law, you are liable. Automatic. Whether you put signs, but if anything happens, whoever's land that property is, they're liable. But by the law.
Commissioner Westling.
That's the thing about that. That I agree with her, and let's get the details in writing. Who are going to go in there, and for what matter?
Commissioner Westling, you're on mute.
Oh
no, you're clear. You're clear.
Thank you, Chairman Clavea, and Dr. Ware. I'd just like to mention, and to the board members, I'm not singling out Dr. Ware's request by speaking up, because I regret I didn't know how to unmute myself on the phone, using my phone for this Zoom meeting. And what I stated, I would also want to, would apply to Mr. Brown's request for his office for the access across Guam ancestral lands property for the survey that they plan to do here in the future. I would still request of him also, which he has agreed to provide all the documentations and to formalize his request as well before granting access. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion?
I would like to speak in the public comment portion.
I think you're still good with here right now.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. May I excuse myself from the meeting? I was supposed to leave like an hour ago.
Okay, your excuse and Sejus Masi for your attendance, Mr. Camacho.
Thank you, everybody. My apologies, Mr. Ware.
No problem.
Okay, Mr. Ware, you can continue.
I had some
I'm sorry, Mr. Weir. Gita, you had your hands up? Gita? You're on mute.
I just have one question before we move on to the public comments. Only because we discussed the Matson request to go on the agenda for the next meeting that we have. And we did discuss the RFP for AT&T. So I just wanted to be sure that the next steps for this, that once it gets finalized, will that have to go on the agenda, or will the finalized RFP be good to go to then?
No, I'm sorry, Mary, once the final RFP has been completed by your office, it will come around one more time for their review, and then they will approve. They will approve to go.
Oh, no, that's what I was asking though, that once because all of our discussions for the RFP happen not on a public setting. So I just wanted to be sure that once we do get it finalized, does that need to go on the agenda to be voted on? Or once it's finalized, can we just then move forward?
No, I believe you need to get the board's approval on it.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that.
The board will have to approve one more time. Yes, before it's
as an action item on the next agenda, correct?
Yes, but it'll only be for approval, not for discussion.
Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted some clarity. Thank you.
Okay.
Kathy, are you sure not for discussion? Because I think after we make a motion and they're seconded, I think we have to do a discussion and just in case.
Sir, we cannot discuss the contents of the RFP because we will be in violation of the procurement law. So that's why after Gita has completed addressing all the concerns that Attorney Miller has, once they finalize that draft RFP, they will forward it to us. We will send it to you for all the board members to review one more time, and then at the meeting is when you guys will vote or you guys will direct Gita to go ahead and proceed with the RFP. That's how we've done it, and that's how we did the other two.
Question.
Okay, Commissioner Cruz?
Yes, usually for RFPs, we have a committee, we have commissioners that join into the review, and then once they okay it, then the final approval comes before the commissioners to do the final approval. But usually there's a task force to join in with the negotiation.
Can I get Mike Cruz? Can I get Mike Cruz to weigh in on this? If I recall correctly, we're able to discuss some matters in it, but I like clarification on that. Mike?
Let me go grab him real quick. Make sure that he's there.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, because I think the conditions of the RFP, I don't think, it was a matter of, I think it's open discussion on the RFP, right? It's not something that shouldn't be discussed.
Well, as Kathy mentioned, we're going through the
Yeah,
procurement
but
process.
as
And
far as the stipulations in the RFP, is that compromising? Because you're still gonna
Yes.
put it out. How would it be compromising it? Let's say we find something, hey, Mike, regarding item number 7, or item this or item that. Is that, or I know,
that's a good question, Mr. Chairman. We just don't normally talk about the
I can see how Kathy's saying
specifics of an
she's gonna,
RFP.
yeah, we're gonna get it beforehand, and I guess we'll study it at home, and then I guess we'll show up and just vote, but no discussion. But unless, what if we find something with it, then we have to get
Well,
back to
normally, as Commissioner Cruz mentioned,
Right.
you know, we establish a evaluation committee, which usually contains at least one member of the commission, you know, to be involved in the evaluation process.
Is that how
So
we
we
did
could-
all
we
of
could-
our, and that's what I'm calling how we did all of our RFPs?
I remember.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I know that we chose subcommittee, I mean, some people to participate in it, but as far as approval of the RFP, I remember you appearing before the board, here's the RFP.
No, I mean, the board has to approve it, yeah.
Right, and then the board ran through it, we had it in front of us.
No,
I have a comment.
Okay.
We usually have at least 2 commissioners to join in the evaluation of the RFP. But and then we recommend approval in front of when it comes to the board. We do that's when we do the recommendation. Again, it's because it's an RFP, because a lot of things are being negotiated, and final decision has to come before the board.
Yeah, that's true. And normally the commission members are involved in an RFP that selects a particular developer to lease a piece of ancestral property. The RFP we're talking about now is is hiring an appraiser.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of the evaluation committee, that's fine. We'd just be looking at the qualifications of an appraiser in this case.
Yeah, I was just bringing up, it's no real big deal. I was just bringing up, we couldn't discuss the contents of the
RFP.
Yeah, I was wondering, okay, here we are. We've got the RFP ready for an appraiser. Guys, look at it. Look at them, we look it over and say, hey, what's this on number 6? What's this on number 7? Well, we can't bring that up.
Maybe Attorney Miller.
Chairman Eklevia, I'm sorry to interrupt. Commissioner Westling here. My recollection of RFPs also is, as Commissioner Cruz mentioned, we have a small task force meetings with KEDA to review, discuss, make recommendations, so that when it does become for the board at a meeting, all of the questions would have been vetted already and hopefully addressed, and that it's coming to the board in its final, review.
Yeah, but that's not how I remembered it. How I remembered it was more or less like who, the board members can volunteer more than 1 or 2 or 3. And then I remember, because the RFPs are so thick, I didn't think we had enough time to go through all of it. So I guess maybe we did skip discussions on it or something. We just kind of like, okay, Gita, this is your expertise. Just go ahead and put it out. We're good with it. What we're saying is,
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
As we've sort of been talking around, I think we need to make clear that there is a procurement process that of which evaluation committees will be created, and evaluation committees will have meetings and ask questions of offerers, and write memos and all that good stuff. We are a long way away from all of that. The question on the table now is simply, does, ultimately the question is, does the commission direct GITA to commence a procurement for an appraiser on the terms and conditions that are described in the RFP? And while it would be productive and useful if folks had an opportunity to review the RFP on their own in advance, and because many of the topics within the RFP are, sort of pretty technical and bureaucratic, and are most appropriately answered by somebody with a fair amount of procurement experience. If folks can look at the RFP, ask staff whatever questions they have, and staff will work on getting answers so that next month, we are voting on what we all hope is the polished document ready to go on the street. But I have, when a motion is made to direct GITA to publish an RFP in the form which is the subject of the discussion, I have no concerns that we would be violating any procurement laws if somebody were to say, I think we ought to, we ought to have a question period of 60 days rather than 30 days, or we ought to have 2 site visits, or while it's going to make the meetings better and more productive, if those questions can be asked and to the extent possible answered individually before the meeting goes on. If folks want to talk about the details of the request for proposal document, when we are considering whether or not to direct GITA to publish the document, the fact that we're having a discussion on whether we should have a 2-week turnaround or a 6-week turnaround, that's perfectly legal.
Okay, did his video stop or something? Looks like his video. Oh, no. Okay. I thought your video stopped there. Okay. The only reason why I was bringing it up was on our hearings with both the front office and with the legislature.
What are you doing?
We got hammered. And then I saw some responses.
I'm talking to the.
I got some responses that from you actually, legal counsel, that looked very interesting and kind of like was leaning towards the proper way to get the proper appraiser. That's the only reason I was bringing this up. Otherwise, it would probably be just hey, GITA, put it out. But boy, what we went through with the legislature and the front office, and with this is just the only reason why I brought that up. Can we double check? That's the only reason why I brought that up. Yeah.
And by all means, that it's a very unique property. It's going to be a property likely difficult to appraise and
yeah, it's a different animal altogether that we're not used to dealing with this.
But we won't be violating the law. We won't be violating any law if, when we are ready to vote on, is this the document we want to send to the appraisal community? If folks want to have questions and express comments, that'll be okay. It's after that. It's once the document is on the street, then we go totally quiet.
That's right. Okay, I understand that clearly. So okay, anyway, it's not like we're gonna give us a bottleneck for this. I know it's got to go through. So that's, I just wanted to make sure that when we reviewed it, I was able to bring up some things that was of concern with me with the front office, and then with the previous speaker, and then your concerns that you brought up. But Commissioner Westing, go ahead. You're on mute.
I'm so sorry, Chairman Covea.
Okay, go ahead.
I need to be excused now. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I can't
Yes,
stay
I
in
guess, I think,
longer.
very good. I
Okay.
think we're at the tail end of this. I think what time is it? 4:12? I think we're done. Any other questions? Where are we at? Let's see.
I have two questions in your public comment section.
Okay, let's move down then to public comments.
First,
Item 7.
it's a question and a comment on the Smith Bridge report and the GITA report concerning disposal of waste. They're proposing to encapsulate this, as I think is very reasonable, as long as that waste is certified to be non-hazardous. If it is not, then there needs to be some long-term wordage in there as to who is liable for this, because in the next probably 20 to 50 years, that section of property is going to be underwater due to global warming. The ocean rise, 5 feet is going to put that property underwater. And so long term, that structure is probably going to be a nice fishing island for people to go out to and fish from. But that being the case, then it's subject to erosion, and the encapsulating structure could break down, and if there's something in there that shouldn't be there, somebody's going to be liable, and you don't want that to be you. My second point is the discussion with I think Mr. Brown for lot 10190-R1 in Finnegadjin.
Okay.
His proposal at this point is simply for access, which I think is reasonable. But he indicates that their intent is to put a right-of-way through there, which means that there's going to be a road. That site is going to be militarily sensitive, and more than likely this finger of land that he's proposing to go across, the end of that finger is going to have no access. And so that giving him permission or giving him rights to the small portion he needs may make the rest of the land out on that finger of land that he describes unusable. And so I would encourage the commission to look at that carefully and perhaps insist that they pay rent on the whole portion. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, your comments are well taken.
Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And
yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I will be in contact with your office regarding item 7.
Okay. Just for your FYI, as Smith Bridge has confirmed that they hired Unitech, which is an environmental waste management team, and they've identified all the waste, and basically they got rid of all the hazardous waste. Right now, that waste that is there, I don't, maybe it's still hazardous per se, like, metals and stuff like that, but not the type that that was
Right.
chemicals and the stuff that was there before, oils, battery acid maybe, and stuff like that. That's been mitigated. So the kind of stuff he's talking about there,
I,
yeah.
I understand that. I'm just saying, if you're going to do that, I think you need to put some wordage in there that if something comes up later, I mean, we've seen with the ORDOT dump, things have come up.
Yeah, well, we're gonna
And-
go with
and you don't
Guam
want to,
Environmental, yeah, Guam Environmental Protection Agency. We're gonna rely on them also to
You-
make sure
you-
everything is
you
proper.
don't want to have it come bite you 20, 30, 40 years from now.
No,
or more.
exactly.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Weir, for your presentation today. Okay, now we're down for announcements. We're at number 9, Ajin. Next board meeting.
Next board meeting is April 9, if we're gonna follow this schedule, second Wednesday of the month, April 9th.
Okay, just make some room there just in case for that special meeting to address Mr. Brown's request.
Yes.
If
Yes, sir.
If we're gonna address that, we could include that in between.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other final thoughts, everybody? Again, thank you, everybody. Sujus Masi, GALC. Great job. Tina, thank you, everybody. Mr. Cruz, take care. Anita and Vice Chair, thank you. Gita, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now, okay, so motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, one last comment, Mr. Chairman. I was on mute. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now, Vice Chair.
No, I'm totally in agreement with Mr. Weir on that matter. And, you know, we need to live long term, you know, because it may just sound like what he said. It might end up to be a fisherman's mound, but you know, I really agree with him. You know, I'm looking at it at a long term matter. You know, we need to protect these lands. You know, and as much as we can, we are, you know, our generation is going to make that decision, and with the next generations, will ultimately be dealing with the matter. So
no, I agree. I just have speculation about global warming because Al Gore 98, I believe, or one of those dates said that the Statue of Liberty halfway is going to be underwater by 2010 or something. And here we are,
no,
2025.
You know, the ice melts are happening.
Yeah, but that's what he said back then in 98. Remember, he went around this global warming thing, and that the Statue of Liberty is going to be halfway underwater, waste size. And we look at Mount Kilimanjaro, the snows are still there. He said, all going to be all gone by 2010.
But still, that concrete structure doesn't seem, I don't know. You know, it seems too artificial to me. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, I think about it, Vice Chair Fund. Look, I studied that very well. Everybody studied it and look into it. Even me, I'm just going to study it and see. And otherwise, if we do have him, let's look at also the cost to actually remove it. If it's going to be
absolutely, yeah.
But if we're going to sacrifice the you know, the lease money, then let's make that decision and just say move it out. Whether, you know, we get paid, we see any money, just get rid of it. Then let's make that decision.
Yeah, because you know, just with that subleasing matter too, you know, you don't know what the magnitude of that operation is going to happen with the billions of dollars that Black Construction has won. You know.
Well, we discussed that too.
We don't know where we're at with that. You know.
Yeah,
we're becoming the middleman now. You know.
Well, we can take a look at that the language again and in that subleasing thing if we need to. Let's. Oh, by the way, one last thing I wanted to bring up. During the hearing, we also got, you know, we were reminded about the directorship that we need to put out also a notice or something like that. I mean, with all respect to the governor, So we're being pulled by both sides. So do we need to put out a notice? Or should we put out a notice for, you know, and then, and then we scrutinize everybody, or I don't, you know, because we're getting it from both ends. What can we do?
Let's give it a shot. We were we were instructed.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna exit now, Mr. Chairman. I'm on the road.
Same here, guys.
I'm here in Teason, and I'm gonna get knocked off. What do you call that?
Okay,
Disconnected.
motion to adjourn was done by
Motion.
Vice Chair. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Okay.
Thank you,
Adios.
staff. Adios, guys.
See you
Chairman.
guys.
I have my operation on Monday on my left eye. I might be